Burn 121 is a blackjack variation that incorporates 4 rule changes, allowing players more flexibility to play their hands when compared to traditional blackjack. The primary rule change occurs when a player is dealt a hard 12 through 16 on the initial 2 cards of a hand, resulting in what is called a burn-eligible hand. When this outcome takes place, the player is afforded a one-time only per hand burn 1 option. This feature allows the player the choice to either immediately discard one of the cards in the hand in exchange for the next card in the shoe, or decide to hit the hard hand once or multiple times and elect to discard any card in the hand as long as the hand didn't bust. In either case, the player continues playing out the hand according to standard blackjack rules. The second rule change is that a player may double down on 2 or more cards. However, once a player chooses to double down, the burn 1 option may no longer be utilized to improve the hand. The third rule change is that a player blackjack automatically wins and pays 3-2 odds. And finally, the last rule change is that the dealer stands on all totals of 16 and causes all player hands to push. To begin, the player makes an initial blackjack wager and may elect to pay the optional burn 1 fee equal to 10% of the main wager, which is collected by the dealer prior to any cards being dealt. Players who pay this fee are afforded the discard option on all burn-eligible hands during the course of the round. In addition, the player is afforded the optional push 16 wager. When this bet is made, the player is wagering the dealer will achieve a hand totaling 16. Winning push 16 wagers are paid various odds according to the pay table on the layout. Let's demonstrate a few hands to better illustrate how Burn 121 is played. In this first example, the player chooses to pay the optional Burn 1 fee, which the dealer collects prior to the start of the round. The player is first dealt a 10 and a 6, which equals a hard 16, versus the dealer's 8. Since this outcome results in a burn-eligible hand, the player decides to utilize the burn 1 option by discarding the 6 in exchange for the next card in the shoe. The player receives a 9, improving the hand to 19, and chooses to stand. The dealer turns over a face card, achieving a hand value of 18, and must stand, resulting in a player win. In this second example, the player again elects to pay the burn 1 fee for the ability to discard a card if dealt a burn-eligible hand during the course of the round. The player is first dealt a 3, and another 3 versus a dealer 5. The player decides to split the 3s, creating 2 separate hands. It's important to note that when the decision is made to split like-value cards, up to 4 hands, the player is not required to pay an additional burn 1 fee on any of the subsequent hands. The player only pays the burn 1 fee once at the beginning of each round. On the first hand, the player receives a face card, achieving a total of 13. Since the outcome results in a burn-eligible hand, the player chooses to burn the 3 in exchange for the next card in the shoe, which in this case is another face card. Consequently, the player decides to stand on 20. Next, the player is dealt a second card on the second hand. This time, the player receives a 9 and achieves a hand totaling 12. As a result, this outcome is another burn-eligible hand, and the player elects to discard the 3 in exchange for the next card in the shoe, which in this case is a 2. Since the hand now totals an 11, the player elects to double down and receives a 10, obtaining a total of 21. Next, the dealer turns over a face card, hits the hand, and busts, resulting in the player winning both hands. This next example illustrates what happens when a player elects to hit a hard hand that doesn't bust. Again, the player elects to pay the burn 1 fee this round. The player is first dealt a face card and a 2 versus a dealer 2. Instead of initially discarding one of the cards in this burn-eligible hand, the player decides to hit the hand and receives an ace. Consequently, the player now elects to utilize the burn 1 option by discarding the 2, resulting in a hand value of 21 and stands. The dealer turns over a 7, hits the hand, totaling 19, resulting in a player win. In this next example, the player again pays the burn 1 fee, which is collected by the dealer prior to the start of the round. The player is dealt an 8, and another 8 versus a dealer face card. Instead of splitting the 8s, the player elects to invoke the burn 1 option by discarding one of the 8s in exchange for the next card in the shoe. The dealer then deals the player a 4. Although the outcome results in another hard hand, the player may not employ the burn 1 option as it has already been utilized. Consequently, the player elects to hit the hand and receives a 5, resulting in a total of 17, and chooses to stand. The dealer turns over the down card and reveals a hand total of 19, resulting in a player loss. In our next example, the player elects to forego paying the optional burn 1 fee. However, by doing so, the player is now playing the game at a significantly higher house edge, since the discard option has now been forfeited on any of the potential burn-eligible hands. The player is dealt a 9 and a 3 versus a dealer 7. Since the discard option cannot be utilized on this hard hand, the player elects to hit the hand, is dealt a face card and bust, resulting in a player loss. This next illustration highlights the player's option to double down on 2 or more cards. This time, the player elects to pay the optional burn 1 fee, which again is collected by the dealer prior to the beginning of the round. The player is dealt a 2 and an ace versus the dealer's 5. The player elects to hit the soft hand, receives another 2, and decides to hit again, since the hand total is now a 5 or 15. The next card dealt to the player is a 2, which increases the hand's point value to 7 or 17. As a result, the player chooses to double down on the multiple card soft 17, is dealt a 4, and increases the value of the hand to a total of 21. The dealer turns over the down card and reveals a hand total of 17, resulting in a player win. In this next example, the player elects to pay the burn 1 fee for this round. The player is dealt a face card and an ace versus a dealer ace. Since a player's blackjack automatically wins in burn 121, regardless of the outcome of the dealer's hand, the player is immediately paid 3-2 odds on this winning outcome. For our last example, after making the initial blackjack wager and paying the optional burn 1 fee, the player also decides to make a push 16 wager. The player is dealt a face card and an 8 and elects to stand versus the dealer's 5. The dealer turns over a 2 and must hit again. As a result, the dealer hits and receives a 9, which results in a total of 16, causing the player's main wager to push. However, the player's push 16 wager wins and pays 50-1 odds on this pay table, since the dealer achieved a suited 16. Well, that does it for this video demonstration. So, if you're looking to increase your blackjack hold while offering your players more options to play their stiff hands, be sure to get Burn 121 on your floor today. Burn 121, because blackjack is more fun when you have the power to burn one.